So you're not saying that the Bills shouldn't add to the wide receiver room or to the tight end room or to the running back room again, whether it's a
I think
free agent
slot's
signing,
probably the
whether it's a
biggest ad
trade.
you need. Like
You look at these
the
weapons
position of it.
as
Yeah.
a whole, right now, as things stand. You don't feel like this team lacks weapons, do you?
I don't. Dude, people were putting it out right after they got bounced from the playoffs. They said, look at the weapons from these other teams. And like, sure, I think you can make a case for the Eagles. I think you can make a case for the Bengals, but I don't think it's far off. I really think the Bills are right there on par in terms of weapons. They've got a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, which matters the most of everything. You have a top 5 receiver over the last 5 years. Like, again, Gabe Davis, the conversation about him is way overreactionary. He is closer to average on par, which isn't the worst place to be. Again, I think you had the playmakers at running back. You just weren't getting the production out of them. To me, it's more, and this was the conversation we had for years about Brian Daboll. When people wanted to fire Brian Daboll for years, it was execution then. And I think that some of it was, again, this year, we're having a way different conversation if Josh Allen and Gabe Davis connect on the 3 wide open plays that he had. And the Bills are even if they lose that game, are a lot closer in that game. I think a lot of it boils down to execution. I don't think a lot of it boils down to utilization. And we're conflating that to, hey, we need more weapons that are just going to rise all the talent level of everybody else. What good is another weapon if Ken Dorsey isn't getting them dialed up into this offense, right?
Yeah, and listen, having this, having a conversation about Ken Dorsey being here is pointless because he's not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
why bother? Do you?
Yes.
I guess. But I can ask you this: do you feel confident? Do you have confidence in him that going in the year 2, maybe he had to learn a lot of stuff to learn this year. Do you have confidence in him going in the year 2 that he will find a better way to utilize James Cook, to utilize Dawson Knox, to utilize Khalil Shakir, assuming he's going to have a bigger role with this football team, to get Gabe Davis the ball more, to get Stephon Diggs, move him around the field more, maybe line him up in the slot more, stuff like that. I remember Brian Daboll early on. Mm-hmm. In fact, not even early on, going in the early 2021 at times, the Bills were calling for his head. Fans were calling for his head. So I get that. But do you honestly, you look at him, do you have confidence that you're going to see a big jump from Ken Dorsey? Because I think that's as important as a question as who the Bills may add to this offense coming up in this offseason.
I don't have a good answer for that. It's maybe like a 50-50 proposition for me. I'm in the camp that I do believe, and I know my own guys at Cover One put out some terrible looking numbers of the season splits between weeks 1 through 9 and 10 through the playoff loss. I'm still in the camp. I do believe that Ken Dorsey improved and got better as the year went on. I think there's some metrics that support it. I believe the utilization of Dawson Knox got better as the year went on. The running game and the production from the running game got better as the year went on. They hit a really bad stretch of games from the Pats game to the playoff loss, which is going to make those final end of the season numbers look way worse, I think, in terms of the dip in production. I think people are taking the comments made by Stephon Diggs that the offense was harder and the offense was worse in the second half and conflating that to that it was just worse and they didn't get improve or change anything for the better. I don't think that's true. I do think he slowly got better. He still wasn't doing stuff that to me seems pretty obvious of how to use some of your players and get the most out of them, especially in those bigger games as the year went on. So hopefully the thing that I think gives me the most hope, Pat, is I do believe Sean McDermott's not scared to have those conversations. And I think they have the analytics and they have the same information that we all do. I think Joe Brady being in the room matters. I think having an Aaron Cromer who has had success in that room matters. Adding Adam Henry, who has had a ton of coaching success and managing big personalities. I think all this stuff matters. I think they need to actually get Steph, Josh, Gabe, Knox, offensive line guys in a room with the coaches and probably have some really uncomfortable, honest conversations about where this offense needs to go. Because it seems from Steph's row through media row and even Josh on Kyle Brandt, it seems there's like a little bit of tension knowing that they didn't meet the moment, didn't meet the pressure. Fans feel it. I think the team feels it. And I'm hoping them having the leadership council and having player-driven leadership, they can have these conversations and get to where they need to go. I think if everybody can put their egos aside and be like, hey, this is the stuff we need to start doing to get the most out of this offense, I really do think they can unlock it. But I don't know. Right now, I'm a little bit torn because sometimes coaches just double down into their own philosophy and what they think and how things should go. So I don't know where Ken's going to go. in this, but there's a lot of smart voices in that room at One Bills Drive, regardless of what people want to say about McDermott and the coaching staff. Like, these are smart football people that are in charge. I do think they're going to have the right conversation.